right. So, Mr. Haider, firstly, congratulations for passing PMP certification exam again. And firstly, just introduce yourself so that everybody know about you before we move on. Your mic is again not attached. Can you please check again?
Am I audible to you now?
Yes, now it's okay.
Okay. Good evening to all attending the session. My name is Syed Zulfikar Haider. I am a mechatronics engineer. I graduated from National University of Science and Technology, NUST, Pakistan, in 2008. Since then, I have been working for my employer on various engineering projects. And of course, my role have been primarily as the project manager. My career pattern led me to make this decision of pursuing PMP certification. And I am quite happy now as I have cleared the PMP exam. Getting PMP certified not only enhances your knowledge, but it gives you a high value as a professional. So overall, getting PMP certified is a real deal. I will encourage everybody doing or pursuing their profession on various projects. Getting PMP certified will really help you in future as well. So for the next 25 to 30 minutes, we'll be discussing about the dynamics of PMP exam vis-a-vis my own experience. So Mr. Faz, we can start now.
Yeah, actually, let me give the real introduction. Mr. Haider actually passed the PMP exam. Hamidullah, can all of you hear us? Can you please type yes so that we are sure to continue? That if there is any problem with one person or all of you have the audio issue, if anyone else other than Hamidullah, if all of you can hear, can you please just type yes in the messages so that we are sure? Okay, then please, someone from the group, can you please type a message for Hamidullah to exit the meeting and join again on my behalf, because I will not be able to write here when I'm talking to Mr. Haider. So the real introduction, I was telling that Mr. Haider's real introduction is that he cleared PMP examination within 20 days. So he actually took my last class on 13th of March 2018. And he was PMP certified on 3 of April 2018. So within 20 days, Mr. Haider appeared and he cleared the PMP examination. So that is something that is really fascinating. That is something that actually encourages other as well. When I shared, I remember last example was Noman. Actually, Noman cleared it also within a month. And then it was Haider. So firstly, before Noman, it was, I think, I forgot the name. And then Mr. Noman, and then now Haider. So I requested Haider, actually, he has been really busy because he has some busy schedule. Your internet connection is unusable. Can you hear me, Haider?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So firstly, tell us that how you prepared for examination, and then I will take their questions also. But what was your preparation methodology? How you were able to prepare yourself for PMP examination in such short interval of time within 20 days?
Actually, like anybody, like any aspirant of PMP exam, I also once decided, I went through a lot of search on the Google, getting to know more and more about the PMP exam, its benefits, not only its benefits, then to follow from there you can just go on and you try to be to find a method in which by following which you can easily pass the exam and in the minimum time. Because in this age we know that we all are professionals, we all are doing some job, and during the jobs or during those days it's not a easy thing to pass the exam or doing the effort of for passing the exam side by side while maintaining your professional activities as well. So while doing so, I came to know about Mr. Faz. His advertisement page came on the Facebook, on my Facebook wall. So I contacted him immediately, and he just told me one basic thing, and that was no need to read the book. And if you are available, you can come over to meet us. We are executing a seminar, and I committed that I will surely attend the seminar. And during the seminar, that seminar was really beneficial because there was no, hassle attending the seminar. First of all, it was very friendly. You could ask anything. You, as a starter, anybody can have so many questions, which are few questions are sensible and few don't really make sense. But Mr. Faz, generous enough, answered every question from that appeared during that seminar. It really helped to cut it short. It really helped, and the focus was uh, while attending the training, uh, concepts must be polished, or if you don't have any concept, you just need to focus on the concept. You need to make the concept, then test yourself against your knowledge, and then keep on polishing the concept till the time you appear on the exam. This is the basic rule. And of course, that I learned from Mr. Faz, that no need to study extra, because extra studying, uh, getting in touch with extra notes, extra books, will always make you puzzle. It will confuse you, because this is the exam which is knowledge based. It will test your ability to do to do management of the real time projects. So I think focusing on the concept rather than a lot of material was the real key that helped me preparing the exam in this short possible time.
Okay, great. Yes. So, like I say to everyone, mostly those who will be listening or who will listen to this on YouTube will be, most of them will be my students. And this I have been focusing since the PMBOK 5th edition. Now it is 6th edition. When 5th edition arrived, actually, we were focusing on the concepts. And I told everybody that no need to read books. But still some people have their own pattern. They don't believe, so they go ahead, they start reading PMBOK, they start reading head first, they start memorizing Rita. And I always say, even if you want to read Rita, read it as a storybook only once and just keep it aside. That's it, you don't need it anymore. But people do it reading stuff a lot. And what happened is that head first has written project management in his own way. PMBOK, they have written in a most confusing way. You will never understand a word. Rita, they have written it in their own way. You are reading same concept from three different publishers. What will happen? You will be messed up. So I always say that keep yourself to one book if you want. And Rita, in my experience for last 5-6 years, Rita is the best. But read it as a story only. Like Haider said, that we need concepts. So if the concept, no, number one, concepts you will not get from the book. I always stop people taking a reading book before taking the training session. Why? Because what I say is that you will read the book, and what you will do, you will make your concepts. Whatever you read, you will try to understand it your way. So you will make a concept that I don't want. I want me to make your concept. So I always stop them from reading book before coming to the training session. If someone has read the book, what he will do, he will confuse him in the class, or He will ask irrelevant questions because the way he understood that was different than the way we need him to understand. So firstly, concepts are the key again, and now especially PMBOK 6th edition. Mr. Haider has appeared from 6th edition now. So now they have changed it more. If Mr. Haider would have appeared in PMBOK 5th edition, he would definitely have told me that this time it was totally conceptual, because 5th edition was again a little bit memorizing kind of that. But in 6th edition, till now, whatever I am receiving from the students who are appearing in examination, they are all saying that even if it is formula based, they make a story. Even if it is formula based, they will ask you in form of a story. So like Heather said, concepts are the key. Not only the concepts, correct concepts are the key. It's not the concept only, it's the correct concept that you need to have. So find someone who will give you the correct concept, because uh, if you watch and start watching videos on YouTube, you see an X guy talking about, let's say, critical path in a different way, and you see a Y guy, he will tell you something about earned value analysis. And if that guy is wrong, you are gone, you are finished. Your PMP exam is screwed if that guy is wrong. So always take advice from the guy who has past experience also, and always follow the footsteps. Haider has just cleared. Haider has passed. He is successful. So the thing that always success coaches say, they say, well, success leaves clues. Success leaves footprints. You need to just follow those footsteps. So this is what Haider has just told me. I will ask him more questions also, but you can ask also at the end of this webinar. I will forward those questions to him. But Haider, tell us that uh, how was the PMP exam experience? I mean, how you started? Was it a difficult one? Did you feel the pressure? How did it go? Those 4 hours, how you spent during the examination?
Yeah, very nice question, Sarfaz. First of all, I think any exam will give you such nightmares. It's not easy to appear in any exam during any stage of your career, your professional career that I'm talking about. So again, nerves can come in. Nerves have their part to play, but uh, what I felt was that if you are believing in yourself while attempting the exam, it will help you the most, because I think nobody will go and appear in the exam if he's not confident before the exam. Once a person is confident, then he might be able to take the date for the exam. But during the examination, it is very important to not lose the composure. Be confident. Uh, Exam will test your self-belief right from the first question. In my case, uh, first 50 questions, I felt, that's what I felt, that first 50 questions were very difficult and last 50 questions were very easy. So it is not possible that the examiner or the software has been designed in a way that any candidate will have to cope up with the most difficult questions as first 50. So it were the nerves. Once the nerves were settled, the more I went through the exam, the more I went through the questions, the exam became easier for me. So that is the first key that I felt was very important, that not to lose the confidence during the exam. You might feel that any answer any answer that you are opting is false. You might be sure that whatever you have done, you are losing marks with every passing question. So that will happen, and that is natural. uh, the best that if you are not confident of a question, if you are getting it difficult to get the understanding of that question, then it's better to leave that question and come over come over again, and you can solve the question afterwards once your nerves are settled, once and for all. So I did the same. The first 50 questions tested my nerves. I was not confident at all. Still, I read the question. I marked the best possible option. And I also marked that review option, that so that it might be easier for me to look over these questions again if I had the time. So after first 50, my nerves got settled. Questions or the frequency of marking that review button lessened down, and it really helped. The third thing that I felt during the exam is that uh, few candidates might worry that uh, the atmosphere in the exam center. The atmosphere is so friendly. There is no noise at all. They provide you with the earmuffs as well. You can use that if you find any noise at all. Uh, 4 hours, the total duration of the exam will pass in a jiffy. You might not be worrying that how I am passing, how should I pass my time over here. Exam has lot to test, and the questions will be easy. Questions will be difficult if you are not believing in yourself. uh, you must have confidence in you. You must believe in yourself once you are sitting in front of that monitor and attempting the exam.
Yeah.
This is the key.
Okay, so let me go back to our last conversation that you and me had before, one day before you were going to examination. So on WhatsApp, actually, let me just go back and find the message that I sent you. So you, on Monday 2 April, I got your message. Sir, tomorrow is my exam. Please pray for me and also guide me with final tips if you have any. All right. So I gave you some tips on last day. Okay, for example, those tips were from the areas. Those tips were about the change control. Those tips were about holding your nerves. So tell them also who are listening that what were those tips that we talked about and how you felt them useful in the examination.
Yes. Uh, First of all, the most interesting tip from Sir Faz was you will there will be a lot of questions which will be easy. Don't fall in the trap and concentrate on the question. Try to understand the question, because easier questions might trick you. So that was a very interesting advice on the last night, which Sir Faz gave it to me. And it really happened, to be honest, because there were few questions which I felt were very easy, but and I attempted them in just 1 to 2 seconds. All the three options were omitted, and the one option, best option, I selected. But when I came back, uh, because I was left with so much time, uh, not so much, maybe just 30 minutes, in which I was able to review all my answers. So I specifically noted that those easier questions, which I felt were easy, but when I reviewed them, I became double-minded. But when I read those questions for the third time and I concentrated on the options, those questions became easier again. So uh, this leads me to tell you that Mr. Faz gave me second advice, that concentrate on the question, try to understand the question, because he also told me that all the questions will be situation based. So this is very important to understand what the situation means. Uh, it is not something which is which is not obvious to us. It is not something which is very difficult to understand, but still I think it is very important to highlight it over here, that situation is not that much tricky that you will fall into the trap of the situation and you will lose the focus on what the examiner wants to ask from that question. But telling me before the exam that 100% questions will be situational based really helped me. Sarfaz asked me what did I do before the exam to focus on those advices that he had given me. I went back to the software, that simulator, and I specifically tested myself against those situations, against those lengthy questions where there is a situation that is posed to you, and you need to find out the keywords. You need to find out what exactly exam or examiner wants to ask in that lengthy situation. So again, the advice was given to me by Mr. Faz that if there is a situation question, you need to focus or you need to identify what exactly he wants to ask. If you are successful in identifying the intent of the question, then believe me, uh, the rest is done. So the third thing that Mr. Faz, the fourth thing that Mr. Faz told me before the exam was that there would be 4 to 5 numericals, not more than this. So again, I exactly remember there were only 4 numericals. So only 4 numericals out of 200 is just nothing. Uh, this depicts that the psyche of this exam is to test your knowledge, to test the correct concepts, not test the cramming ability of the candidate of the formulas. But yes, all those 4 questions, 4 numericals, were testing the candidate's ability to know what is the value, what is the actual cost, what is the planned value. So if you don't know the concept of actual cost and the difference between the earned value and the planned value, then you would not be able to distinguish between these terms, these values that are given in the statement or in the situation. So situational questions advice was really helpful, and he focused his advice was focused on one aspect that really helped me in the last 2 hours of my study. That was that now the exam has changed, uh, so you need to go through the concepts of the amendments that has been done by PMI in the PMBOK 6th edition. So it is very, it is very sensible that the amendments or the processes which have been added are really important. They will, and they tested that those areas specifically. The focus remained there on the amendments. And again, those advices really helped me on the last night. And I must advise over here to all the aspirants of the PMP exam that Mr. Faz categorically focuses on contacting him before the exam, 1 day or 2 day prior to the exam. So I will encourage all the candidates that before going to the exam must contact him. He has the feedback of all his students who are uh, appearing in the exam. So that feedback really helps.
All right. So, yeah, again, to summarize it all, what he said lastly was the changes that we have recently seen in PMBOK 6th edition. Those changes are in some names. So name, of course, is not a problem, but some processes they have added, like they have shifted the estimate resources from schedule management to resource management now. In resource management, they have added control resources. Integration management, that was my area because I know they will focus too much. That was when we say in integration management, we say manage project knowledge. So I knew managed project knowledge is something that they will definitely test, and they will keep on testing it for the rest of 3-4 years also, because managed project knowledge is something very important according to PMI. Like they focus on historical record kind of stuff there. Managing project knowledge in integration management, this is the area they will test you again and again in the exam also. And what about change control, Heather? There were questions.
Change. I really felt that integration management, the focus was on change control, of course. Lessons learned is another area that has been added in the PMBOK 6th edition. So their focus was on lessons learned as well. But again, in any exam, Sarfaz told us in the class as well that it is their favorite area, that change management. So I had to face so many questions about change. I think if I could give it a percentage.
Noman said after every 4 or 5 questions, I felt there was one change per question. This is what Noman.
I would say after every 3. I think every 3 questions, there was one question that was posed on the candidate about the change.
All right. So, what are the future plans now after getting PMP certified? Searching
after getting PMP
or working somewhere?
Yeah, after getting PMP certified, first of all, you get so much confidence. You feel that because before getting this certification, if someone is working on any project, he can easily understand the difference before and after getting PMP certified. You get to know the terms, you get to know the basic logics behind various processes. The most important thing that you get to know is the real importance of any process, because you cannot just ignore any process, those 49 processes. You cannot just ignore any process. Before that, the people, as understandably, doesn't know about these processes, so they tend to just take various things for granted. For example, documenting the lessons learned. For example, closing the project or closing the phase out. So it really boosts your confidence as a professional. Number one. So I can feel that in me as well. My future plans, first, the main focus is to use this confidence, because once you have this confidence, it is very difficult for any professional to not to use this confidence. So using this confidence in the profession, wherever I get to get a chance, because after getting PMP certified, after getting this certification, I'm planning to move to Canada, where I will find a suitable job for myself, where I can exercise this knowledge as a professional, because now I can feel that PMP certification has given me the confidence, the composure, the knowledge, the skill, which is really needed.
Yes, great. All right. So now let's move to our other listeners now. If you have any question, anyone of you want to ask anything from Haider, just type it in your messages here and I will keep asking the questions. So go on and ask the messages, please. Whatever you want to ask from Haider, just write it in the messages. All right. You are, in case you move to Canada, I had an interview before with our Indian brother. He is in Canada now. He was my student from Jubail, and it's available on YouTube also if you want to listen to that. He said, well, in Canada, they do exactly what PMI says to do. So whatever we read in PMBOK or in PMP study, that exactly is what they are practicing in Canada. So that will actually help you. You will see practically there whatever you have studied. In Pakistan, unfortunately, we did not have a chance to experience much about what we discussed in project management. But now things are changing. Like I say, when professionals like you, like Numan and like others who are getting certified, they will take over the market. Of course, things will change. Products will be managed more professionally, and this will happen very soon, in next 6 months, in next 1 year, not more than that. So I'm very hopeful. Okay, so let's see if we have question. Thanks for your time. Noman is saying thank you for your time and best of luck for your future career. Sunil Kumar is asking you that you did not mention anything about FasTrak. You did not mention anything about FasTrak. All right. So tell them what was FasTrak and how it was useful for you.
First, basically, uh, I mentioned in the start that first of all, making the right concepts, then testing your concepts, and then getting to know the gaps and polishing your correct concepts is the key, is the name of the game for getting that PMP certified, that PMP certification. So the real asset that really helped me while doing all these three things was that PM FasTrak tool. Uh, First of all, the major trick behind that tool is that you, first of all, test your knowledge. What is knowledge? What, from where I gained the knowledge? I had two things: lectures of Mr. Faz and the class notes. I did not study anything extra. After getting hold, or after getting confident that now I know, or now I have inculcated the right concepts about anything that I have, about any, or about every topic that Mr. Faz has given us in the class, I went to the PM FasTrak software. Now, that software, uh, first of all, identified the gaps in my knowledge. During the first attempt, I scored around 80% in every knowledge area. And during the second, and getting track of the questions which I could not answer correctly, there is explanation given in the notes. So in the same software, you can get hold of that explanation, and then you can just, I think, any person with an average IQ, if goes through that that explanation, you can easily cover up the gap in your knowledge. Now, second time, because the target given to us to our complete class by Mr. Faz was 85% in every knowledge area. So I was knowing that after second attempt, I can easily get, or I can easily cross 85% in every knowledge area. So that's what I did. But one thing that I felt after super PMP exam, after testing my knowledge against that super PMP exam, that overusing overusing that software can really affect your self confidence during the exam. And that Mr. Faz also told us to do that. If you cross 85%, that's it. No need to just go over the software again and again and again and just giving yourself or trying to give yourself some extra boost that, okay, every trick in the market. It's not possible. It's not possible for any candidate to appear in the PMP exam and get 100% or get 90%. There might be few, but in my opinion, it's not possible, because it's knowledge based. It tests your ability, your analytical ability. Uh, it will test your concepts only. No cramming abilities test. PM FasTrak is a really helpful tool, but overusing it can affect you, can destroy your self-confidence during the exam. If the target is given by your trainer, by your teacher, that just cross 85% or 83% or 82%, just do it and relax. That's it.
All right. So, he's saying, do not over prepare. Requirement is not 100%. Requirement is almost 62, 63% on average. So we still, I say 85%, we still have 20% margin. And if you are the guy who is trying to get 100%, you are on the wrong track. So stop doing that. All right. Any other question? If you have, I will make a couple of more minutes. Any other question? If anyone of you have it, I will just summarize everything at the end. So if you have any question, you can ask me. Otherwise, we will say goodbye to Mr. Haider.
I think I saw a question that what sort of tricks that I faced during my exam while solving those simple questions.
Okay.
So just to answer, mate, simple questions. First of all, you will have to cope up with the questions which are just uh, one line or 1.5 line. So that is not a simple question. By simple question, I mean that there were few questions. There were, I think, 30 odd questions in which I felt that that the question is so simple that I don't need to look into the options. I knew them. I knew the answer. But once you read that simple question, if the tip is that if you feel that this is a simple question, then the advice is reread the question, because it might be just a line, it might be 1.5 line, uh, but don't get into the trick. Read it again. Read all the options. Number one. Uh, Simple question. The trick, the examiner does not, or the exam does not have a single trick. They have a lot of tricks in their bags. They might you might feel that uh, how many single lines question, roughly, yes, 30 plus roughly. And during those simple questions, you might feel, or during some questions you might feel that all the 4 options are wrong. This is very important for you to know. You might feel that all the 4 options given in the exam are wrong, but actually it's not like this. So that's why I say maintaining self composure is is the key. Mr. Faz concentrated on this point quite a lot during our classes as well, that you need to know the importance of the word best, or even if it is not mentioned in your question, the best, you still must know what could be the best choice for you to go with. So I think there is another trick that I just mentioned, just to summarize, that you can feel that all the 4 options are wrong, but exactly it's not like this. So you need to reread the question over and over where you feel that it's so simple. That is the solution of all the tricks of those simple questions.
Rana is saying, Rana, last time also you asked similar kind of question, and I told you that FasTrak is not based on PMBOK. I don't know how you relate PMBOK to FasTrak. FasTrak is written by Rita. FasTrak is not written by PMI. If they are giving any line, any kind of reference to PMBOK, I told you last time also, I think you asked this question, if I'm not wrong. I told you go and read that in PMBOK, you will never understand it. They have just given it as a reference only, but FasTrak is not based on PMBOK. FasTrak is based on Rita. And PMBOK is useless book. It will confuse your knowledge. I'm saying this throughout my all webinars. Whoever is asking you to read PMBOK, he's putting you on the wrong track. Maybe that guy is advising you, maybe he wants you to buy his material. If you are following someone on the Facebook, you are in his Facebook group, he's asking you to read PMBOK because they want you to confuse and they want you to buy their mock-up exam questions. So I have seen many Facebook groups where they are pushing people to read PMBOK. Why? They want them to confuse, and at the same time in the same group they are giving their software, they are selling their softwares. So stop reading PMBOK. I'm saying this from very first webinar. Start reading Vita if you are a book reader. Otherwise, get the concepts right. What I'm saying is get the trainer right. If the trainer is right, if he's giving him the right concept, if he's putting you on the track, then you can pass like Haider. In 20 days, tell me how many times he would have read PMBOK. Tell me in 20 days who can read the books. His last class was 13th of March. and he passed on 3 of April. Who can read 927 pages of PMBOK in 20 days? Plus, he can solve FasTrak also. He did nothing. So follow those who are passing in a good way. PMBOK is most confusing book in the world to understand project management. And I always say that if I put PMBOK into a real book, I would make a pamphlet of PMBOK, because they are repeating things so many times that those are useless to repeat. I would make 50 to 60 pages book out of PMBOK. That's what PMBOK is. So read Rita if you want to read it. If they have given reference, I would say again, test it. Go whatever reference they have given in FasTrak, go and read that reference in PMBOK. You will never understand. So PMBOK is, I got an email from PMI. They say PMP exam is not exam of PMBOK. I can show you that email. Go and send an email to PMI and ask them that will PMP exam be a PMP be an exam from PMBOK? They have very clear lines that I received in email. They said PMP exam is not an exam of PMBOK. These were the same words sent to me by PMI, Project Management Institute. So get out of this misperception, brother. PMBOK is not a book you want to read to pass PMP examination. Those who are doing it, they are reading it for last 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I met many people who say, well, Faz, it's been 2 years. We are still not ready. How come your student has passed in 20 days? I say you are on the wrong track. Somebody told you a wrong thing to study actually. So if you want to pass it, just focus. Don't go to PMBOK, please. PMBOK has nothing to do with your PMP examination. It's the most confusing book that you can come across if you are studying project management. Okay, Sunil, but the thing in this FasTrak is based on PMBOK. Okay, this is Rana. Can you please let us know from amendments what kind of questions were asked? Well, he already told Sunil that those areas where we have changes, like we have changes in integration management. So the part of managed project knowledge, that is the most concerned part. In resource management, it's not human resource management anymore. They have added a process. They have shifted a process from schedule management to resource management. So what I told him was that go through the process charts where you have changes and just try to understand that. And that is what you need to do as well. All right, so that's it. Thank you, Haider, for your time. It's been really late at night, but I'm really grateful you spared some time, brother. And this video will remain with me. This will remind me your face, and I will also upload it on YouTube. And I can now proudly share to people that this is a guy, this is my student, you, Noman, and another guy. You are actually those people. Throughout my career, I have never come across this kind of experiments and this kind of experiences that I'm facing in Pakistan. So now I have started enjoying my time in Pakistan actually. So thank you so much for your time, and from all others. Yeah. Khayyam has a question, Haider. He's saying, what sort of brain dump
Yes.
did you use? Did you use any brain dump? Means, did you do anything that you go inside the exam and you wrote everything on the paper, something like formulas, I think I said you should write, or anything else that you were remembering and you wrote it when you entered the exam hall? There was such thing that you did, brain dump?
Yes, I had intentions to do that, but actually, I think while sitting outside the exam center, there was a hall where they were doing all the searching things. So they were doing search, and I could not find time to to write anything for myself. Or before the exam, I could have written. But yes, I had various things in my mind that I could have written or I could have used during the exam for myself, but I couldn't find the time, so I passed the exam without that brain.
Okay. So Khayyam, no brain dumps, brother. I said in the last webinar that what kind of project manager he will be, who will trying to remember things outside the exam, and he go inside the exam and he write down everything on the paper. I mean, what kind of project manager he will be? Just imagine, right? So stop doing these things. These things has nothing to do with your PMP examination. So stop it. Those who are advising you, just stop it. Yes, formula, I would say, if you are bad in formula remembering, again, Those are only 14 formulas in your PMP complete syllabus. I don't think it's hard to understand. But if you find some issue with formulas, I would say, well, yeah, write it down. It's easy to see it on the paper rather than trying to remember it in the examination. But other than that, I don't think there is any requirement to write anything for the examination.
Just one thing, Sarfaz, that I want to add for all the aspirants of the exam. Focus. One thing that Sarfaz has already mentioned in his briefing about the importance of change. Now there are other topics as well on which I feel that everybody should focus as well. That is that Sarfaz also told me on the last night that okay, you have prepared for the exam, but now focus on these topics as well. So I gave some time or I revised those topics as well. And those are the difference between the managed quality and control quality. That really I felt that uh, uh, 5 to 10 questions on the quality were all about the difference between managed quality and control quality. So the other topic that Sarfaz advised me to revise was the risk, uh, the complete knowledge area. Why? Because I think if there was a question about the change, uh, the option of risk uh, was truly there in every question. So if you don't know about risk, how can you answer a question in which there is an option of option highlighting any process related to risk? So it was very important, although there were many questions in which uh, any process related to risk was not the right answer, but uh, revising risk helped me because risk or any process related to risk was involved in most of the options of many questions. So risk. And another process that I really felt was uh, appeared a lot in the exam was the lessons learned. For example, now in PMBOK 6 they have added the process, or they have in integration management now, you know, the manage project knowledge. So they tested they tested a lot uh, about this particular knowledge, that how candidates now know that managed project knowledge, uh, this process takes what precedence, or this particular process of managed project knowledge should be started when, during the complete project management. Initially it was not there, at all. Now it has not only been added, but it has been added in at a particular place where exam tested the candidates that from which major process you should get track of that knowledge. So I think additions which have been done, or amendments which have been done in PMBOK 6 are required to be focused by every candidate. And then those areas: quality, difference between managed quality and control quality. And then lastly, you must know about risk. It is very important. And then easy questions will be from resource. Again, an area or knowledge area where amendments have been made. You will see a lot of questions about resource management, and you will see a lot of questions which are very easy. But this is the knowledge area where you will find the tricks. You will find the options which all you will feel that all the 4 options are not true, but actually it won't be like this. So that's it from my side, Surface.
All right. Thank you so much. Kashif, how can we download FasTrak? Brother, it's available everywhere on the internet, although we have not got the latest version till now. But surprisingly, Haider is sitting in front of you. He actually prepared from the previous version because, like I said, there is no change in the syllabus. There are minor changes. So he studied it from the 8th version and he cleared it from the new version of exam. And you won't see any difference. If you read the latest version, they have mentioned it on very first page that we are not changing the book. So book remains same. Few processes has been added, but it does not mean that FasTrak will be changed. FasTrak still remains same. Haider prepared it from the 8th version, the previous version, and he cleared the latest version of the exam. So don't worry, start preparing from the FasTrak that you already have until we get the new one, but it won't be a big change. In exam, which knowledge area was covered with most of the questions? Well, I don't think this can be answered. Can we answer it knowledge area wise, Haider?
I think that just a gut feeling. It's just a gut feeling. Integration management.
All right, Sayed, integration management. Okay. All right, so it's already late, midnight here. So let's just say goodbye to Haider. Thank you, Haider, for your time. And I will be uploading this video on YouTube as well as in this group. I will share the link. And thanks a lot. And please remember me in your prayers. Remember me when you will actually be more and more successful. So remember me in your prayers. That prayers were someone. All right. Thanks a lot, brother. And thank you. I will definitely meet you before you leave, inshallah. Thank you, brother. All right.
Thank you. My pleasure.